Hey guys, it's Nick coming to you with another Infinity Kingdom video. This one's going to be a short one on an event that we already covered, which is called Alliance Supremacy. The reason we're going to look at it again is because this is a recurring event. It happens once every month, and it is quite an interesting event when it comes to the top 48 Alliance that can play it. But if you can play it and you're a Alliance leader or officer, it's even more entertaining. But as a member as well, it is quite interesting on seeing how you can match up against other Alliance. It is kind of a arena event, but there are more restrictions and there are 3 lanes. What we're going to do in this video is I'm going to give you my feedback, my opinion on how you can optimize your Alliance merges, lanes to win more games in this event. We're going to look at a few strategy, 3 in total, that I think are the main strategy to be used. And we're also going to showcase one matchup that I think showcase exactly that. First, especially when you are in the brackets, you have to remember that you only need to win 2 lane out of 3 to win the match. Here in the regular season, it is the same thing, but you have to be worried for the number of points that you get as well, because only the top 2 will advance. So if you end up winning, example, 2 lane out of 3, every match except 1, because there is a very strong alliance in your group, you might still not be able to place. Because if the other alliances only lost to you 1 point by losing 1 to 2, but won 3 points every other match, you might end up a situation where they actually qualify over you. So you need to be careful in the regular season when it comes to winning only 2 lane out of 3. But in the brackets, it doesn't matter. You only need to win 2 out of 3 to move on. This is how the event is built, and this is where the number 1 strategy is. Focus on 2 lane, not 3. There's no point for you to win all 3 if you need 2 to win. Spreading your power too thin might end up in a situation where you lose all 3 or you only win 1 and you end up losing the match. It is very basic. It is very easy to understand. Only focus on 2 lane, not 3. This is where, however, I think a lot of alliances are still making small mistakes when it comes to optimizing their lane. We're going to look at 209 and 277 when it comes to showcasing a very common mistakes that I think a lot of alliance makes, and that should be corrected if you want to win more games. Let's take a look first, match 1, lane A. Well, first, it's good to say that 209 are extremely strong. 277 had little chance, at least the moment, to win against them in this matchup. But they are a very telling mistake, in my opinion, that we can look at. First, lane A, you can see 209 won pretty easily. 209 also won lane B rather easily. And then lane C, this is where we need to look at, right? 209 did a good thing on strategy 1, which is focusing on 2 lane. They lost lane C pretty easily as well, I would say. 277 won this lane, not that easily, but they clearly won. But obviously 209 didn't care because they won lane A and B, right? But when you look at the match 2 and you go to lane C again, nothing changed on 277 side, whereas 209 didn't need to change anything. Now, again, maybe they had already given up by then because 209 is very strong, but it is going to allow us to give you 2 mistakes that a lot of alliance make that you need to be careful if you want to place better in this event. Mistake number 1, you do not want to put your strongest player at the very top of the lane. Why? It is too easy to counter them. And when I say countering them, I'm not talking about power for power. In my opinion, you see the strongest player, the strongest march of a server at the top of a lane, you don't even try to fight power for power against them. What you do is you put your 5 weakest march right off the start on your lane, on your side. You basically sacrifice 5 weakest march so that this player is no longer a problem. The way this event works is once you get 5 victory, you can no longer fight. This march is gone. It's over, right? Why fight power for power if you can just sacrifice your weakest march? You're going to put 5 very weak march here. This player is going to win 5 march, but he's not going to kill any strong player. And the strongest player, strongest march of the enemy alliance is now gone. This is how you optimize this event. You make sure that you use your weakest march in the right situation. This is mistake number one that you need to avoid. Putting your main strongest player right off the top. It is too easy to be countered, and it is not a thing that you want to do. The other mistakes comes where a lot of alliance just let their player put their march and they don't place them. They don't move them up or down based on the marches that is in the lane. I'll give you a very, very, very good example, okay? Here you see another very strong march in Teal just after GM Steel, all right? So what happens here is GM Steel is extremely strong. He won 5 matches. In my opinion, it doesn't matter. I would have used 5 very weak player. But let's take an example where example 209 had a very, very strong player, even stronger than GM Steel, and won this battle fairly easy. What happened is when you look at this march, very, very strong. Teal march, very, very strong. But if the player is able to kill this player and still be healthy enough, he will kill this player as well. This march is obviously way stronger than this one. So what will happen is if you put a very strong player, example, march 4 here, he will kill GM Steel and also Teal. 2 very strong march is going to be killed by 1 player just because you didn't put breather between your strong player. What I would do in this case, I would put 3 or 4 player in between these two. You can even put 5 if you want to be sure, especially if you're in a situation where your server does not have a lot of strong players, a lot of strong marches. You need to put breather so that if this very strong player lose against another very strong player, that strong player don't end up killing all your strong march. You sacrifice marches in between strong player. That's how you should play this event, in my opinion. It is going to give you better result. I'm pretty sure of it. The only exception is if you're in a very, very strong server where it's only whales, right? You have 3 lanes, 20 march per lane, 60 marches total. If you're able to place 60 extremely strong chaos field march, it doesn't matter. But most likely, this is not the case. This is where you use breather. You use and sacrifice your weakest march at the right time, right? So this is my feedback on this event. I think it's actually extremely fun, especially if you're able to participate and you're an officer. You're able to place your marches. You're able to tell your alliance A, place your march in lane B. It is quite fun as an alliance to play. So this is my feedback on how you should optimize it if you want to win more. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me your feedback on how you are optimizing this event as an alliance. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.